that was aggressive. A Russian warship pretty much came up upon the back of a U.S. destroyer in the Arabian Sea. And wow, was it aggressive. The Arabian Sea is pretty hotly contested at the moment. And I saw the video, and wow, they came pretty close. Within 60 yards is what reports that I have seen are saying, about 60 yards. Let's read this. A Russian warship aggressively approached a U.S. Navy destroyer while it was operating in the North Arabian Sea Thursday, ignoring warnings from the U.S. vessel and increasing the risk of a collision, the U.S. Navy said Friday. Yeah, they had sounded their horn. The Russian warship kept coming closer and closer to the American destroyer. They sounded the alarm. The only thing that seemed to make the Russian warship back off was ship-to-ship communication on the radio from captain to captain. That was pretty crazy. They were definitely trying to elicit a response, I believe. But we will see what other more smarter people say than us. More smarter people. Yes, more smarter people than we. We are smart. Video of the incident, which was obtained by CNN, shows the Russian warship rapidly approaching the USS Farragut, coming as close as 180 feet to the U.S. ship before changing course, according to two defense officials. 180 feet, about 60 yards. About 60 yards. The incident is the latest example of a close encounter between U.S. and Russian military forces that American officials have described as unsafe or provocative. They're provocative. They are trying to elicit a response. To their point of view, they see us as the bullies, and they are standing up to the bullies from their point of view. Remember, everybody's point of view is a little bit different. You see, morals are not absolute in a sense. Morals are subjective and morals are objective. They're subjective to people and they're objective to time and region. And this to me just strikes me as people seeing an American ship and them being like, wow, let's show those haughty-taughty Americans. I don't know. That's the feel that I get. There is no evidence that that is what it was. It could have been a horrible mistake, but I just get the feeling like it was them being pricks. Quite honestly. It comes roughly 7 months after another incident in the Pacific when U.S. and Russia warships came so close, the U.S. ship had to perform an emergency maneuver to avoid a collision. Yeah. Why? Is it sanctioned? As in, are they getting orders to be provocative to see what our defense stance is? And so far, our defense stance has been to run, pretty much. Or are they horrible mistakes or technical issues or? In the video taken from the American ship last year, Russian sailors can be seen appearing to sunbathe on the stern of their vessel. Okay, so hearing that bit of information, Russian sailors can be seen appearing to sunbathe on the stern of their vessel, strikes me as a setup for a YouTube video, setting up for YouTube fame. You know, trying to see if they can make a viral video happen by sunbathing on a Russian warship as it almost collides with an American ship. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were just all asleep and nobody was piloting the damn thing and they were all sunbathing. Maybe, I don't know. But on Thursday, January 9th, while conducting routine operations in the North Arabian Sea, USS Farragut was aggressively approached by a Russian Navy ship. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet, which oversees naval operations in the Middle East, said in a statement. And I believe it was there as part of the escort for a carrier. or it was heading towards being the escort to a carrier, or something. Maybe that's just the defense group that it was in is... Okay, yeah, that's probably what it is. Farragut sounded 5 short blasts, the international maritime signal for danger of a collision, and requested the Russian ship alter course in accordance with international rules of the road. The Russian ship initially refused, but ultimately altered course, the statement said, adding, while the Russian ship took action, the initial delay in complying with international rules while it was making an aggressive approach increased the risk of collision. Now, I gotta wonder. I mean, this could be like, back in the medieval ages when you would send a small force to test the enemy's response. You feign a little attack here because now they've revealed that they've got archers hidden up there in the woods, and you can reposition your men accordingly and things like that. I mean, I gotta wonder. A lot of this seems quite intentional. And as a professional military, I wouldn't think that they were asleep at the wheel. And as a professional military, I wouldn't think that they are acting on their own with these government ships. I would hope not. The Russian Defense Ministry responded Friday by accusing the USS Farragut of conducting dangerous maneuvers. The Defense Ministry said in a statement that the U.S. Navy's claim doesn't correspond with reality and accused the crew of the USS Farragut of acting unprofessionally. Yeah, and that could be too. Perhaps the U.S. ship, and we'll later on find out, was dicking around with their ship. Like that dog that you have next door that annoys people, and you watch it, and there's this one kid in the neighborhood that always wants to to the dog, go at it. And one day that dog gets out of the fence and goes straight for that kid. I don't care where in the neighborhood he is. That dog is finding that kid. Maybe they provoked them in a little bit, and the Russian warship was like, all right, enough is enough, and took an aggressive stance to end the American ship being dicks. And we'll see. The crew of the Russian warship... wait, hold on. Let's get back to here. There it is. It was the U.S. Navy destroyer being on the left of the Russian warship that was moving forward, grossly violated international rules for preventing collision of ships at sea on January 9, 2020, having made a maneuver to cross the Russian ship's course, the statement said. So, you remember back in... Never mind, you don't remember back in the mid-90s. What am I talking about? Have you guys ever heard of the Swoop and Stoop? It's a insurance scam where a car pulls in front of a semi-truck intentionally and slams on its brakes to cause a collision to make an insurance claim. That's essentially what the Russians are saying that the U.S. ship did. A Swoop and Stoop. Pull in front of it, hold on the brakes, and make it look like it's the other guy's fault. So, that said, the context to solve that is the video before this. I mean, like, the long-term video before this. And I am 100% positive that those ships have GPS on them, on both sides. 100% positive. It will be easy as someone at an office going on a computer, searching on GPS where this ship has gone. Was it behaving erratically? Were they being dicks? Were they fucking with the Russian ship and the Russian ship couldn't take it anymore? Or were they just minding their own business, going along their merry way, smelling flowers, drinking coffee, saying hi to the neighbors, and along came this Russian bulldog trying to chew at their leg, and they, warned it and it didn't come, and finally they convinced it to leave them alone. I don't know. We don't know yet. Two narratives, two sides. The crew of the Russian warship acted professionally, taking a maneuver that prevented a collision with the intruder vessel, the Russian Defense Ministry added. Russia responded similarly after the encounter in June, claiming it was the U.S. ship that instigated the incident, according to comments carried out by the state-run RIA Novosti news agency. When moving on parallel courses of a detachment of ships of the Pacific Fleet, and the carrier group of the U.S. Navy, the cruiser Chancellorsville suddenly changed its direction and crossed within 50 meters of the Admiral Vinogradov, forcing the Russian destroyer to take emergency evasive action, the IRA Novosti reported. Well, two narratives, each side says that they're right. This is where our opinion matters, and we delve into it and we say, well, which side sounds more correct? It should be easily provable, at least I know for a fact, on the American side through global positioning satellite technology for us to be able to tell what our ship was doing. And I would be highly surprised if we didn't have radar that would tell us exactly where the enemy ship was and what the enemy ship was doing as well. Secondly, I would be highly surprised if the crew of our ship is not well aware of the fact that they are on GPS and well aware of the fact that they are on radar and that the enemy ship is on radar and that any tomfoolery would be easily discoverable, I should hope. So if these sailors are guilty, they should be doubly punished for their stupidity as well. But I would hope that they were professional enough to say that, hey, at least if nothing else, Big Brother is watching us and we shouldn't act like jackasses. But history will be the judges of this one, and we will be the judges currently. Let me know what your opinion is, and I'll see you guys on the next one.